Well, I can tell you that reviews are one of the most important things that my clients deal with on a consistent basis. I mean, think about how great they are. You get the opportunity to hear directly from somebody who has interacted with you. Again, for the most part, we all know that there's trolls out there that keyboard warriors, their only job is to come in and harass people. We're not talking about them. Let's move them over here. Again, not something we're necessarily concerned about there. Now, with this, I've got a great article which I've already sent out to my clients today for them to understand better about how they can utilize their not only the reviews that they have, but also their responsibility in responding, and then the expectations for their client, again, for their guests, their clients, etc. So again, for those who don't know, excuse me, still working through a cold here. For those who don't know, I am a business coach that works out of West Michigan, and I come live here to be able to chat with folks and be able to talk about all things business. So with that, let's get into this here. Again, links as always are going to be in the description here, so be sure to go check that out. Again, surprising review stats to feed your local strategy. Again, this is from Search Engine Journal. This is from Miriam Ellis. 11-minute read. I thought this was great. So like I said, I've already sent this out to my clients for them to review. I want to share with you guys today. Now, the thing with this is a great number that I wanted right off the bat here. It's affirming to see, for example, that 85% of our respondents place a degree of trust in local business reviews, and 92% now believe that brands responding reviews have become a part of offering good customer service. Think about that, folks. And that's where I'm at too. If I send a note to a business, local business, small business, and I don't hear back from them, that's really weird. Like, it's just odd to me that they would not take the time to provide some feedback. It's really weird. So I think most of us are there. If we send a message to a small business through Facebook, through Instagram, we expect to hear back from them. And when we don't, it's just odd. So, I mean, that makes sense. So, now with that, customers are also seeking review content across a wide variety of platforms, including, Google business profiles for sure, social media like Instagram, and then localized online spaces. There are places that in some of the larger municipalities where they have a local review place to go and kind of hear about those things. But for most of us, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, and it's Google, just validating those reviews. So if you can, one of the things that I try to inspire all of my clients to do is find a way to make it as easy as possible for people to leave reviews for you. And some of the best known practices, drop it on the receipt at the bottom here. Click the, the QR code, scan this to be able to leave a review for us. So let's take a look here. Now, when young consumers are surprisingly patient when it comes to owner response reviews. Now, with this chart, what we're looking at here, the percentage goes this way, and then it's broken down by color code, being white. The white bar at the top here is 18 to 29. Then you go to 30 to 44-year-olds, 45 to 60, and then 60 plus. And what I see here when I look at this type of information is these top two segments within 1 day and within 3 days is really where the most people expect you to get back to them. Listen, I understand if I don't hear back from you right away if I send a review, but I should hear something back within 1 to 3 days. And that makes sense where most people are living there. What was interesting is that, the opinion was for many, many individuals that the Zoomers were going to be, what's the best way to phrase this here? Frankly, they have no patience. That they would just be like, I need an answer, I need it now. And lo and behold, Zoomers are people too. They tend to understand those things. So that's really great here. Now, generally surprised to discover that consumers age 45 to 60 have the highest expectations when it comes to review response timeframes, with 46% of them expecting to hear back from businesses within 1 day. Have you met 45 to 60-year-olds? Right. Seriously, have you met them? They're some of the least patient, entitled folks on the planet. And guess what? I'm one of them. I'm 46. I know my people. And I know the folks that are older than me. They have an over-exaggerated sense of self-worth at times when it comes to how important they are. And it just has to do with they were raised. It is what it is. So yeah, just keep that in mind. All right, so let's get on. Again, the author, I wrongly suppose that our youngest demographic would be the least patients, right? Because they have instant gratification. However, within reason, they do 1 to 3 days. I think a lot of it too is frankly they're pretty recently connected to retail and retail, quick serve, fast food, so they understand like, hey, folks have other things to do than besides just answering those questions. Now, word of mouth recommendations are far more trusted than reviews. Absolutely, I mean that just makes sense, right? You're going to trust your friends if they said they had a good time and that you should go check it out. Then you're going to go do that thing. So with this, which do you trust more? Online local business reviews or 25%, personal recommendations from family and friends as well into the 45th percentile, and then I trust both equally 30%. So again, I think there's goodness here. You trust some random people that put stuff up. You can look at it globally, and then you got your friends and family too. So I think that's good. That's healthy. That's what we want to see. Review reading is on the rise. Absolutely. I mean, how many of you guys out there actually read the reviews that are at the restaurant? I know I do, or a business that you go to. I'm constantly reading those reviews. It's important. Excuse me. Like I said, I'm still working my way through this cold, so the thing just will not go away. Get a little vitamin C in me. Now, compared to 5 years ago, how much time are you spending reading local business reviews? And it's in 60th percentile almost, where more time than 5 years ago. And then about the same. So, I mean, you're really in the 80 percentile of people who are either still reading the same amount or have increased the amount of time they're spending reviews. So with that, if they are reading reviews, what does that lead you to think you should do? Respond. As a business owner, you should be responding to every review. Thank you so much. It was great to see you. Thank you for the feedback. Love to hear more. Send me a DM, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, there's some best practices that I'm going to talk to with in a second with my clients, but that's something you definitely want to have. So it makes more sense to trust. Hey, Ghetto Planet, we got in the chat here. Makes more sense to trust reviews that aren't full stars because the proliferation of bots doing fake. Absolutely. And we're going to get into that too, which is why folks want to read them. I go through Amazon and I can tell which of those are the bot reviews, right? They're certified, whatever. And like, okay, this is just a garbage review versus the ones that are, it's from a dude or a dudette like me that just says, hey, I really enjoyed this thing. All right. Are star ratings less important to and this was the next spot here. I'm glad you brought it up. Star ratings less important than you think. Think of the last time you consulted reviews. What did you consult? Most recent reviews were the most, and that's where I go to. What's the most recent review? The lowest scored reviews, its highest, and didn't sort reviews, and looked at the overall star rating. If you'll see, is real down here at the bottom. We all know that you're going to get some crap reviews from folks on businesses. That's going to happen if you're open for reviews and anything. However, I always see what's the most recent, and what I really like to see at a business if I'm going there, especially one of my clients that I like to see is we want to see an active community of people commenting and providing comments on reviews. So that lets you know that business owner and that business is actively soliciting feedback. Excuse me. Ooh, sorry if that was too loud, guys. But they're actively working to generate feedback from their clients. And that's something that I push with all of my clients. It's one of the best practices is constantly find a way to get feedback from your clients. You want to have that. Same thing for your employees, but in this case, we're just talking about online reviews here too. All right. And then only a minority of review readers are interested in responses that detail brand improvements. So when an owner responds to someone's complaint in a review, which of the following elements increase your trust in the business? An apology. Pretty wild, right? And then offers to make things right. Things that you want to see right. Hey, we missed the mark on that one. Yeah, it's our bad. And how can we make this right to you? That's what you want to see. And it was one of those best practices. Just admit you got something wrong. It's okay. There's a number of times that you're there to try to meet customers' expectations, but you're going to miss sometimes. And it's okay to admit that and acknowledge that and then say, hey, let me get you your money back. A number of times with the donut shops that I ran that, it was pretty much common practice. If someone complained, we refunded their money and then gave them a gift card for a donut and coffee for them to come back. Hey, we messed that one up, but we'd love to have you back. Here's a free donut and coffee on us when you come back. Is what it is. Then you got offers a phone number to call. Yeah, I ain't a big fan of that one. I mean, I'll just put that out there. they know how to get in touch with you. They took the time to write the review, say, hey, give us a call. Be like, no, have the conversation right there in the review, unless it has to do with some sort of personal, something like a personnel or privacy type thing. Have the conversation right there. It's not the worst thing. So now explains what they changed to avoid the problem. See, that's all the way down here. First and foremost, they just want to say, hey, did we get this right? Cool. All right. Hey, and we apologize. We're going to make everything cool. And then at the very bottom, that's what folks are looking for, to see if you're actually going to be humble and acknowledge. But the next piece, which I love on this, is explain what they changed to avoid the problem. You want to be like, yo, hey, we took a look at this. We made some adjustments to our overall process, if that's the case, which is one of the things that we would always talk about. But first and foremost, we apologized, we made it right, and then it was the rest of the stuff. And then you get the speed of the response. One of the things that I coach my clients about on this, and again, just as something for you to take out of this, is we're going to head back to the article in a second, is that when you are getting ready to reply to a customer, right, it is so very important that you have the correct information first. Get it right, because fast and wrong information is still wrong. Doesn't matter how fast you got it to them. You want to be able to gather all your details, make sure you understand what happened, make sure, and then so that way when you come and you make your apology, it's just not a fake apology. It's, hey, you know what, you're right. We didn't hit X, Y, and Z, and we're going to refund that for you. We're going to make this thing right. And then thank you. With this feedback, we've taken a look at our overall process, and here's the change we're going to make. And I advocate putting all of that out in the open for folks. I really do. Not, again, if there's privacy or personnel stuff, that's a separate conversation. You don't really air that, but if it's, be as transparent as you can. It's a good thing. All right, let's get back into it here. Now with this, in the past, I've recommended local business clients be certain that their owner responds to negative reviews, including a detailed explanation of improvements, to ensure that the customers don't experience the same problem the reviewer encountered. For example, again, we already talked about that. Now seeing, and this is what I love about these surveys, you get to learn something. Now seeing that just 34% of reviewers highly value this type of explanation, I may alter my best practice in a particular use case. And I absolutely love that here. Just admit you got stuff wrong, make it right, and then you can spend time saying how you've used this, but you need to make sure that you're getting into those things. All right, and then this is one of the more important ones here. How big can I make this? There we go. I didn't realize I could make those that big. Is in addition to looking at traditional review platforms, right? Your Google thing. Are you looking for local business recommendations on any of the following? And there's one missing on here. I'd be interested if any of y'all are able to figure out which one is missing on here, because it's like the big boy, and it's not on here. But anyways, so reviews, Instagram for sure. Instagram is and has been super important in your area as far as for recommendations you want to have. TikTok, yeah. Now that it's back full, it's been blessed to come back again. Reddit, I thought was interesting. Reddit's kind of toxic. I'm not a huge fan of Reddit in a lot of those cases, but I'd be interested to see what, I may have to go and just do some research on this to see where they're the Reddit. YouTube for sure. That's one of the reasons that I do these, stuff like this. So hopefully I earn your subscription today. But this is why I do YouTube. It's the second largest search engine on the planet, right behind Google. X and Twitter for sure. Local community hub, like we talk about, print, local blogger, private, blah, 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 blah. Facebook isn't on here. I was just kind of dumbfounded that Facebook wasn't on here when I saw this. I was like, that's crazy. Facebook, at least in my area and pretty much everywhere you go, it is you do a search for them, it's going to have the information, and you're going to have reviews or all sorts of comments right there on their page. So I found that to be a little bit surprising. All right, and here's the last one here, which I just want to leave you guys with is, given how much time the public now spends online, do you feel that businesses should consider responding to reviews as part of providing good customer service? That looks like a big fat 95% or 90%, something like that. I don't know what that number is. That's right, 92%. There it is. So again, please go check out the link into the description here, guys. It's super important that you take a moment and again, as always, I love to review these, but go review the stuff yourself as always. But again, best practices for me, I'm going to use this information, and there's a few folks that I have that are in the in the retail space specifically, but also I have some manufacturers that I work with that do have comments go back and forth. And we're going to have a little deeper dive on this piece here about, hey, what can we glean from this information and update our standard operating procedures. Now, that's going to be the top tip that I'm going to give everyone who's watching here. You need to make sure that you have a standard operating procedure for how you do your how you respond to reviews and do your replies. Okay, it's super important, so that way you can measure how well it's doing. All right, if you're just randomly doing things without having a process, you're not going to get any better. All right, and that's the ultimate goal here. So with that, hopefully I earned your subscription today. I appreciate y'all hanging out for this long. Again, please go check this out. If you'd like to learn more about how I help businesses grow faster than they ever thought possible, go check out summitbusinessguys.com. Take care, and I will see you next time.